And now I need to admit the two participants. So we are recording. This is the Town of New Canaan Conservation Commission meeting. Officially opening at 5:05 on Thursday, October 12th. We have two participants, one participant, which is Tiger Man.
But he's not on yet, he's muted and
Oh, do I have to?
you might be listening. I don't
No,
know.
I'm here.
Okay, Tiger,
Okay.
thank you. Relax, take it easy, we'll get to you in a second.
Your time.
Okay, call the meeting to order, roll call. Susan Switzer,
Here.
Ann Sylvia,
Here.
Linda Andros,
Here.
Chris Shipper here. Attending the meeting, Robin Bates Mason, town councilor, and Tiger Man on the telephone. We need to approve the minutes of July 13th and September 14th. And I went through them briefly. Again, Susan, thank you so much for
Well,
everything.
September 14th is really flying by because none of the audio worked on my computer. So
Well, you did a great job.
I went, so I
So
No, it was great.
I thought you did really great. It's probably because you, instead of download it, you interpreted it. And that probably worked better.
Yeah. Yeah,
And I know that the July 13th meeting, I would only like to make one correction, which is we should find Jesse's last name is
Yeah.
Avery Cotton's mom.
Oh, okay, well, that wasn't clear, so yes, I would agree with you. So
I would say that we could probably suffice by saying Jesse Cotton on that one, and that would be the only change that
I'll
I
just
have.
amend that.
Do I have a motion to approve the meeting subject to that one change?
for
For
one
both.
or both.
For both.
I move that we approve both minutes as presented.
Second? And
Seconded.
all in favor?
I,
Done. Minutes approved. Okay. Conservation Commission mission, Sustainable New Canaan Silver Certification update. But to start with, I noticed recently that I think it's New Haven made it to gold recently. So they opened up a new category.
So they just opened up the new
They
category.
just opened it up.
Okay. We're not going for gold.
Okay.
We're going for silver.
We're going for silver.
step at a time.
One step at a time.
We're,
One bevel at a
we've
time.
lost some things. So, like the garden plots at the nature center.
Yeah.
So those are.
But they're,
Oh, yes.
yeah, they're going to build some more.
Oh, they are?
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so those are coming back.
yeah. they're coming.
Yep, no, so I've said about this before, I've just been super busy, so I'm gonna try to, we are all set for the programs we've done, and we just need to start putting everything together, and so I need to call a meeting in November. I think that's when I'll have time after camp garden is done. And then we'll start just working on getting everyone to, input the, application for, silver certification. One of the couple things we do need to finish is I need to do another follow-up on the food scrap, have all the notes on that. And then Tiger, when you're available, we'll talk about it, the equity action meeting on the swap shop. Nothing has to be achieved, but we need to discuss something, go over some things and just get information out to the community, which is what you can do with equity action.
Great.
You don't actually have to. Shouldn't say it. You don't have to actually like, you have an idea, you've narrowed it, and you think you're gonna get to that goal. It could be that the actions that you learned, what you do is from the public is completely separate than what you thought you were gonna get. But as long as stuff is brought to the public attention and you get invoice from various
You know, there,
people.
if you're looking for garden plots on, the schoolhouse apartments, you know, they have some, and I think they could use some more.
So that's interesting, that came up, last week, actually, people were talking about those plots and saying at the schoolhouse apartments, people were
They
fighting over them.
They fight over them and so.
That is a Sustainable Connecticut Matching Fund grant.
And then also New Canaan Parish, I don't know if they have the parish firms, is that right? Did I get that right?
Yeah, the new ones. So
The new
Peggy
ones.
Dannerman's been working on those.
Yeah.
She's put those in and she says so far they're popular, but they could use more. And it
Yeah.
could be something where
Right.
it is we think people would donate towards it, we could do a matching grant. And we could get the the tall ones, so it's accessible for everyone, so not,
Got it.
yeah,
So also, I mean, I don't know, St. Mark's also has land, still has land that could be developed for their garden, but they need an investment.
right. And then the other thing for sustainable, UK is just, I'm not gonna get back on this, met over the summer with, Amy Hernandez, who's the manager at Millport, and they need signage. We worked with, the Center for Eco Technology, and this sent over some signs. That didn't really work, because under recycling, they had some compostable items in there, which you can't put in recycling, so. Plan became, we were gonna make up some signs, so that's just something we still need to do, but that will count towards it.
Oh,
But
Signage for what?
recycling, what can be recycled,
Got it, guidelines.
which is so difficult.
it's so
It's so
complicated now.
complicated, it's,
I tell you, I was looking at all the garbage and I went on the Connecticut, you know, Connecticut, deep,
right,
where you, but you have to put in every item. You know, for
Yeah.
them to tell you exactly what to do with it. So, I don't know, anyway.
what on the signage we would put, if people wanna look up recyclect.com, that has the recycling wizard that you can go on, but I mean, there's so much that.
But I did go on that, and it's complicated, because, not complicated, but time consuming, because
Yeah.
you have to put every
That's exactly.
item in.
I don't think if someone's in front of the bin, they're
No.
gonna take out my phone.
Yeah.
It's,
People just end up throwing stuff out.
Yeah.
This is too difficult.
it is, and it really is difficult though.
Yeah, it is.
There's gotta be a way to make it easier, somehow. Tiger, I think I was talking to, someone at the dump about the, what's the term called, where all recycling goes into one system?
Single stream.
Single stream. And the message I got back was that anytime there's broken glass in there, it's a total loss.
Yeah,
So why don't we separate glass out? At least glass.
Well, because everything comes in one package, especially from the haulers. So we've been looking at doing a pilot program and bringing out one bin for just transfer station users to put glass in. We also don't have a market. But it is a thought to actually have one bin, but where everyone else collects, they collect in a single stream nature. So that's our problem. It actually has to go back to the state, and the state should understand the folly of single stream and the problem that it's contaminating most of the materials, and go back to a segregated approach.
My sense is that households wouldn't, I don't think house owners would mind segmenting out a little bit of glass. Because it used to happen 5 years ago, right? It was glass, metal, and paper.
Yeah, but did you ever see the haulers pick it up?
Well, all I know is that what.
Put it all together.
All went all together.
They just, they dumped it all
They
back
did it
in.
here in town too with the bins.
Well, here in town, yeah, but I meant through recycling.
No, unless you were up and watching, they,
Well, it seems to be, we're causing problems here. When does the 10-cent return rule come in?
January.
Maybe that's the time to take a look at a reverse vending machine. And I only say it because we do have within the Conservation Commission budget, $9,000 to support a sustainable investment. That might be enough to pilot something in that regard. But I realize that, Tiger, the other big constraint for you is space, right? You only have so much room to capture anything.
That's correct. And the reverse vending machines we talked about, they have other issues with them as far as, having to give money back at the time. We cannot do that. We are on a non-cash basis. So
Right.
makes it a little bit harder for us to do a reverse vending machine on the premises.
Right, unless we got everyone to accept that whatever you put into the vending machine gets recycled, but and the money goes to defer the costs of the transfer station, but it doesn't get refunded individually. In other words, it's another way to dispose of cans, plastic, and glass without having it go into the cycle, and then the town collects the money to pay for the cost of the vending machine. I mean, there might be a solution there. I only bring it up as a thought because at 10 cents, it still isn't really worth it if you have 6 bottles to make a separate trip. to, and to find the store you bought it and recycle it in, because there's not general acceptance across, but a reverse vending machine is an open acceptance program, so everything can go there.
There is a new redemption center, so when you collect
Ah.
cans and bottles, you have to be a redemption center in order to give money back.
Mhm.
You have to have those, which our transfer station is not. There's a new company out of Stanford called iCycle, and they will pick up. And they are themselves the redemption center.
So we just give them the money.
Well, no, so what they've done in Weston, Connecticut, but it's a space issue
Mhm.
at the transfer station. What they do in Weston is through their conservation committee, they set up, recycling where, anything that's redeemable, recyclable gets put in these various different bins. And then they have the sports teams on every Saturday sort through them. And then what happens is all the money they receive, and when we saw them, they were getting after. It's different now, but when we saw them in March, what happens is that they had some guy pick them up and bring them to the redemption center, which is now in Bridgeport. They were in Stratford, but now they're in Bridgeport. And they think they got about, half, so they were making then, I think it was $14,000 that went towards their sports booster club.
$14,000 at 10 cents.
Yeah, this was at the 5 cents.
This is at the 5 cents, so now they've doubled, they're either doubled their revenue or.
Right, so Plan New Canaan's been talking about this, we spoke with Tiger, but it's a space issue, but the problem is. The way it works with iCycle is you buy the bags and they have a line but you have to fill by size, not just by material.
Yeah.
So it's getting, if you could get those volunteers in to do the sorting.
Well, and that's why I think that the machine at Walter Stewart's takes glass, plastic, and metal and just sorts it into different things. So you have one machine, instead of sorting everything, just pop stuff in. And then the only thing you don't get are the wine bottles and things that aren't normally recyclable, but they could be then tossed into a separate place. I would say there are always challenges of particularly finding space and organization, but down the line, that seems to make sense to me. And with the doubling of the return on it, and plus, I also believe that it's not just 10 cents, but the machine or whoever site holds it also garners a penny or two as well. There's an addition.
2.5 cents.
2.5 cents. So in effect, it could almost be 12.5 cents for everything that gets tossed in there for people like me who are not going to go make a separate stop down to one place or ShopRite or somewhere else to return something. To just say, yeah, you can have it because I think it'll bring down the cost of recycling and the cost of the transfer. Anyway, I bring it up. I brought it up before. Just a thought, and also to say to you, Robin, that there is 9,000 in the Conservation Commission budget to support sustainable CT activities. And whether it's required for co-funding or special projects or signage, anything that goes towards helping you get silver accreditation is a win. So.
Okay. Sorry.
Perhaps 10 cents would be what it takes to recreate these fellows who go around on their bicycles picking up
Yeah.
cans and bottles.
Huge. We need safer streets for that. I think so. Well, Tiger, it's gonna be out there. And it does throw me off when I see all the garbage thrown into recycling and realize that this is just another dump. This is just gonna go out, and that in and of itself is going up in cost, so managing the waste per capita in New Canaan should be a Conservation Commission goal.
Who is, Tiger, is it still Oak Ridge that does our recycling, or has that become Win?
No, Oak Ridge does our recycling.
Okay, I didn't know they were bought over by Win, it's Win, I think. Is
Well,
it possible?
Go
Is it possible that Conservation Commission members could get into the MRF up in Danbury to just see how it all works? I can't get into the one in Stanford anymore.
Isn't there one in?
I can ask the HRRA, I can ask Jennifer, she runs it.
Yeah, because I've been to them a couple of times, the one in Stanford, but Wynn owns that now and they stonewalled me. But I think it'd be useful for some of the commission members when, I say Danbury because that's where Oak Ridge takes all the recycling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let me ask her. We'll go from there.
right, thank you.
Actually, incredibly interesting operation.
It is, but you'll see about the glass, you'll understand the issues that they're having and
Oh, I
stuff like that.
understand that, but the fact that they do the separation of the single stream is, to me, it's a engineering marvel. I mean, it's.
Well, it's a lot of people there standing around,
I understand that's because people
yeah.
aren't particularly good at separating out, but still that they can do that. I went to the one in Norwalk and I was amazed.
Well, we're gonna have to, there'll be a next generation on how we manage recycling in our town. And the transfer station is exactly that. It's garbage in and garbage out. So anything that we can do, swap shop, recycling or anything like that is a big win because I think, Tiger, you said the cost to dump now is gonna go up again because there's no longer places in Connecticut. So now you have to ship to Pennsylvania. And anybody involved in trucking right now is getting clobbered because you get fuel surcharges that become permanent or layered on top of other surcharges. So it behooves the conservation of all of us to focus on that one of those aspects, as does Tiger and the entire transfer station team.
Just one thing to add, I'd love to see some part of this conversation be about plastic-free options. That's more of an education thing, and I've been thinking for a while, maybe this is something where, you know, there could be product recommendation, like seal of approval kind of thing. It's a research project, really. And it's, you know, it's been my focus personally, is trying to find options that work that are plastic free or
I think so. I think Planet Buchanan has done work in that area, particularly, when they eliminated plastic bags from the markets is one, but I know that there's a ton of plastic packaging and not much of it is recyclable.
And a lot of that carryout food and stuff is not
Yeah.
in the paper.
Yeah, black plastic, you
Yeah.
can't recycle.
Yeah.
Very happy to get my Thai food today in a paper container. Point taken.
and then it's 9,000 to support sustainable CT activities. If that is sort of up for grabs, what is there any more guidance on what falls under sustainable?
So there's an action list, it's Sustainable Connecticut, it's a NGO, I think it's through Eastern Connecticut State University, and they have these action items.
Okay.
So if we need money towards one of those action items, then, and also if you do, that goes towards your, application, it could be used for that. Some of the items that you can do is if an organization or person or anyone in town has a Sustainable Connecticut, matching grant, like the Camp Hutchins Garden, we can, if we don't think we're gonna get to our, what we've given them as our budget to raise, because if you don't raise it, you don't get the match. It's not like, oh, I say 5,000, you raise 2,000, they say, that's nice. You're not getting your match, because you have to be honest, with your budgets. We can go to the Conservation Commission and we can say, like we did with Wave Me, help you guys, per their guidelines, you can give as a government agency 30% of our budget. And Conservation voted on it, Commission voted on it, and they gave us money towards native trees, the maple trees that went in at Waveney. The nice thing about that though is it doubles the money. So there's money and it goes towards the recertification. So that's a little thing like that, but like I'm thinking now about the garden, it's an action for equality, and it's also at schoolhouse apartments and possibly at Cane Parish. Like if there's money in there, and I can make sure that we can get points for it, that's I think a good way to use the money that helps the community. So I just have to look on the action list, and you can go to Sustainable Connecticut. and they'll show all the actions you can do. And even it applies to sometimes with programs, getting a speaker for educational purposes, so usually we can get those for free.
Thank you.
While you're here, would you like to quickly update on the Cam Hutchins pollinator garden?
So it was, thank you, Chris, it was, it's great, private guy. So if you go into Brookstone now, it's all been scraped out. We do need to put some compost in, and Mo Zachary, I spoke with Tiger and Mo Zachary through email. And Mo said, sure, just tell me what you need, and I need to figure out, how much I tell them to bring. Because I've only gotten compost myself, I've never asked someone to bring it. But I was there this afternoon with Faith Kirchhoff, did get a list, which I sent to some of the Conservation Commission members, I'm sorry for the have your email, of what Janet Copia had recommended for that Dappled Sun garden. She was part of Copia, even though they're not Buchanan, they were part of the pollinator pathway meeting we had in April or March. So they're kind of working on this with us for free. Not giving the plants for free, but we went over what the list she had, Faith and I, and we kind of came up with a plan, and I haven't had time to do something more, but I can pass it around. They're mostly natives. They're not the bigger, showier ones you might find in yards, but there's not sun. There's not a lot of sun. They're very dappled. So I can send this around, and then what I can do is a better description with what it looks like and everything like that. I'd like to send this to Land Trust, John Mitchell, the executive director, is away. Because the fundraising was done underneath their name. As required by Sustainable Connecticut, it couldn't be through the pollinator pathway, there were too many of us, they wanted a lead person, so take a look at this. But I was hoping to get it done, in the next 2 weeks. Which Janet Copia thought it'd be okay, she thinks she can still source them. So that's it, so you can pass this around, and it's not very formal or official.
No, it's great. I mean, to be able to plant, 12 different varieties that people could look at and say, hey, this could work in my garden or in my space would be superb.
Yeah, it's gonna be definitely for someone with a woodland garden area, but some of the areas, the fact that do get a bit more sun, we will try to put Monarda and Cardinal flower because they are good for attracting hummingbirds.
Right.
We are talking about putting spice bush, which of course is a tree, but at the beginning, at the sides, but they're very good, especially if you have a female. I think we would like to do one female, one male, so we can get the berries, because it's really important source for the birds during the winter.
I think that this would be great learning. I think that if you get a chance, we can meet with Mo's or have them come by. I mean, if you tell them it's basically a 50 by 40, it's a circle, but you just
It's half like
calculate the
40
area.
feet wide, and it's
45
25 feet in
So
the center.
You calculate that in terms of square footage, and then a half inch, so you'll know about how much mulch you need.
Yeah, so I'll reach out to those again.
In terms of yards, so they can do that, and I think also, if there's anything you want done to move a brush away from it, or there was a pile of logs on one side. I mean, I don't mind rotting logs, I think it's great habitat, but if there's anything that you want, and frankly, if there were some Norway maples in there that you thought would increase the dappling of sun,
Yeah.
we could take them down, so that should be, you should be able to find a way to do that, and I have to say, Mo's, Tiger, Todd, Declan, everybody wants to help on this, so anything, just when you get there and you have things you want, and I thought I heard you said Faith was
Yeah, she came with me this afternoon.
Faith more than anybody knows how to work with the DPW and the crew, so. Sure,
Yeah, she's
Tiger's
got
not in his head.
She's got them moving,
That's great. Well, we're thrilled. It's the Cam Hutchins Pollinator Pathway Resolution. He's the former chair of our commission. So for Cam Hutchins to make this memorial garden, I think is just a great tribute.
Yes, and I think it's a perfect location.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole situation just works really well.
and Bill McDonald has offered to give us seeds for the meadow. I know there's already wild bergamot and Joe Pyeweed and some other, but he'll give us seeds that we can, from his native meadow, that we could spread,
Excellent.
just to add some items.
Are we planning on having any sort of walk and talks people who are.
We can do that. What I did put in there is in the budget, there's also gonna be signage. So where everything is, and everything's clustered together because we will be having volunteers work on this.
Mhm.
And meadows are difficult for volunteers to weed.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, we could definitely do walk and talks. That would definitely be good. There's a little concern about deer with some of those, like especially foam
Yeah.
flower and turtle head, but in theory, they're not supposed to be in Bristol.
I don't like tournaments.
And we could talk to Moses Crew about that as well.
I think though, in my experience, every single one of these meadows have gone through one of these iterations. Where you do a planting like this, and you come back 50 years later and you have had a certain number who disappeared.
Yes.
And but you had an incredible number of volunteers that just arrived. So it's very difficult to actually assign planting plan like you might in your brain garden.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of aberration in this thing.
Really
Yeah.
could be doing a lot of.
Oh, yes, and little rodents too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's like the snake root, well, regarding, you know, snake root will naturalize and we have to keep an eye on that. More money was raised than for the match for the Sustainable Connecticut, which Land Trust is keeping earmarked for this, so it will probably go to, if it can, Friends of Bristol, where they'll hold on to it so that we do have money left over. That we can use to, if, you know, something goes, we can buy more and add into it.
Great.
As Sustainable Connecticut, we can't hold on to funds, we have to spend everything that's been earmarked.
Mhm.
But we did have any money left extra that we can save that balance.
Can you buy vouchers?
Um,
I.e. do a reevaluation in the spring. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
you won't really know until next fall anyway, what exactly.
yeah, we could probably do something where we kind of,
You have a bit of a credit with your vendor.
yeah, we'll see if we can do that, but I think we'll be okay.
Excellent. Tiger, I've been following up with you regarding phase 4 plans and bids and what have you. What's the update now?
So thank you. Just to circle back to the meadow, Mose went to high school with Cam, so he's very much interested in helping. So just, you know, we'll help you whatever we got to do. As far as Bristow, excuse me, bids came in a little bit high, not by much, by about $20,000 over what we had budgeted. So I met with Keith Simpson Associates, the designer, went over some things that we might be able to value engineer, maybe a different change, things of that nature, and then met with the low bidder, Peter Lonnie Incorporated, for the exact same thing. And they both were of the same opinion that we might be able to change the base material for some of the flexi paved walkway to make it more cost effective and to bridge that gap. So next week I have a meeting with all parties to go over just the final plan as to what that would be, and then I'll bring it to the selectmen after that. And I don't know how much work we'll get done this season, but we'll start first thing next season and be done before the party.
Right, yeah, so yeah, let's see what we push through this cycle on the walkways, and then there's the planting plans and what have you for by the end of the fiscal to get everything kind of up and set. Well, that's good news that the low bidder is the same player who's done all the work to date. I'm glad that Keith and Bill feel that the substrate material could be adjusted. I would say that if there are certain features that need additional support financially, that the Friends of Bristow could try to help out in certain circumstances. So I'm very excited to hear that that we get the bid done and closed, and then Peter will have it in his schedule to get at it. So that's good news. Does that also mean, Tiger, you've got the Old Stamford Road pull-off in line as well?
So the Old Stamford Road pull-up, excuse me, I received final state approval for that. All that's waiting now is a contractor. The thought is that we'll bid that over the winter and then be a first project for some contractor coming out on the other side. And then at that point in time, we put their name on the permit and they issue the permit. I just can't get the permit without a contractor, but I have a written agreement from the DOT saying that we're ready for a permit. So everything's in line. It's just a question of putting it out to bid and then starting construction early next spring.
Thank you so much for all the follow through that you and your team have done on getting that through. That's a big win. And I suppose that there's still a hope, but probably may not be done in time for the centennial of getting the Green Link up Old Stamford Road and beyond.
Yeah, that I don't think will happen, to be honest, but we're still working on that, that route, or that proposal. We're looking at sidewalks on both sides of the street to choose the best alternative. Once those plans are finalized, then we'll start, meeting with neighbors, meeting with the police commission, with the town council and what have you. We expect those to come in over the winter and then, go at it in the spring as far as trying to get approvals and a path forward.
If you're looking for neighbors to help you, I was with Fred Afregola the other day, and he said he would be thrilled to get a sidewalk up there. He would feel safer as well. So there may be some people opposed, but there are definitely some people for.
Good. Okay.
All right, Tiger, is there anything else from your side? Because I don't want to keep you in a busy cycle.
No, I'm good unless you have any other questions.
Oh, I did have one question. You saw the cost estimate for the Francis pediment. Is that paperwork adequate for what you need, or do I need to organize getting you some more?
I need a W-9 from the vendor itself.
I get that.
They're not an approved vendor yet, so I need that, and it has to match the what's on the estimate. So when we looked at the vendor, there was a discrepancy in the addresses. That might have been, old piece of paper, whatever. We just need clarification that says this is our address, and go forward from there.
Okay, I will take care of that.
All right, thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
All right,
No problem.
take care. I'm sitting next to a woman who used to go clubbing in Ibiza. Now who's a birder. I don't know if any of you saw that mentioned in the UK night.
It started out with a Facebook post, right?
Oh, is that what it was?
It was a Facebook post, and then we were all joking. She said something about like the old net or something. I officially did this, and I said something like, "Can I interest you in burning books?" And then someone else said something. I go, "Well, we used to go clubbing in Ibiza, and now we go birding." And then that article came out.
That
Yeah.
made it out there.
So
Wow.
thank you, Laura Alt.
Yeah, that was it was a great article from Laura Alt, again, drawing attention to the park. I would mention that yesterday there was another group, but if you do have the opportunity on October 20th, next Friday at 8:30 to do the walk. This is the end cycle of the migratory period. So anybody who ever happens to see this Zoom recording, do take advantage of Frank. He's got great knowledge. He's funny. He makes all sorts of bird sounds, and generally there are a couple of dedicated birders there, and we are at 115 different species identified. So if Bristol Park is our coal mine, the Canaries are doing okay at the moment, or if all of New Canaan is. So
And does it start at the sign?
it'll start at the Mead Park concession stand and walk in from there.
That's where the others have started.
Right, that's where they started. I can only give you another just quick update on the mighty oak that was taken down. Someone has collected some acorns from it and is sprouting. Andrea Sandor.
She has 2 seedlings.
Good. So we want to keep an eye.
She actually done them up, and she's working with the Bartlett Arboretum to take care of them.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
Very good.
Do you have her contact information?
Oh, do I ever, I'm so sorry. I
Carefully, you get that. Hey, you want to-
Well, that would help, when we get to the social.
Okay. We'll address that and other factors. The wood has been milled. We're waiting for the big trunk to be cut into discs. There's some sculpting projects going on. There's some turning projects going on. There's some bench designs going on. We're probably gonna reach out to the New Canaan High School woodworking shop to create birdhouses with some of the oak. There'll be oak planks available if anyone's looking for fresh oak to redo a floor that might be available for a small contribution. And
We should look at that house, for the land trust restoration.
oh, that's another good
Probably
thought.
put
Could probably
really-
use some nice oak flooring in there, right? Random width and everything. So that's underway. And again, it's September 8th, 2024. We're trying to get David Sibley, who's a bird author, the bird author,
Yeah.
to come and give a talk. And then there's also discussion of inviting one of the other senators or a congressman as well to say a few words. So if any other comments from anyone regarding Bristol Bird Sanctuary and Wildwood Preserve? Then we'll move on to the next one. The library's Nature and Environment Working Group statement on the 2024 POCD is available online for anybody who wants to add or insert. And your comments on dark skies are well embedded. Linda, your GLB comments aren't embedded.
Yes, then.
Oh, I missed it then. When I went through my scan of it, the only thing I
The
saw was,
last one she had, the last one I looked at
well, the one
there.
that I clicked on didn't seem to have it.
Oh, really?
That was the latest one I had, so we might want to make sure we get your thoughts and comments in there because it created a dynamic.
Yeah.
Has she sent out the revision in the original one?
No, what it is, it's a live doc now, so anytime you get access to it, you're seeing the latest
Okay.
version.
Okay.
So we decided to make an open edit.
Mhm.
So that people can make comments, so Kate Owsley has made some comments in there. This is really gonna be us on the record. And then October 26th is a possible meeting with the authors or the group that's putting together the POCD. So that's a opportunity to have our views or points brought across.
But it's only a possible meeting?
It's only a what?
You said it's a possible meeting?
Well, it says, what I saw was there was one date and then there was another date. I
Yeah.
think October 26th is the date that they're looking at. And then there was mention of the Nature and Environment Working Group could have a side meeting or another meeting with the subgroup of the Planning and Zoning Commission to bring across issues.
Yeah, I think that October 26th is that last one that's open to the public.
Yeah.
That is
She
public?
said, she
Yeah.
said that in this.
Okay.
email.
It would be great, to have the chance to meet with them, the working group, is that in the works,
That is in the works. So they have to have a series of public meetings.
right?
But there is a possibility to have the planning and zoning working group meet with us or the three groups meet. But I think what we were looking at was the Nature and Environment Working Group to be the conservation kind of player. Are you thinking of something that would be, no, let's just have the Conservation Commission?
Well,
Meet
not
with
just the
them?
commission, but all the stakeholders.
Yeah, that's that October 26th meeting.
Oh, that's not a public meeting,
That is a public meeting.
but so it's both,
Right, but it's a public meeting where we come in mass.
I see, okay.
I think, but yeah, there may be a lot of different people.
So it's under, which is kind of strange, require all New Canaan's non-essential government owned and leased properties too. And then it's kind of
Okay, so it is
stuck in
there.
there, it's stuck down there
Okay.
somewhere. I don't know if it's in the right place. or not.
So where is
No,
it?
it's right before From Planet New Canaan, so I guess that's something.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that
Yeah,
that
no.
what you did is in, that what you've written is in. I think John Fusick put some wording in regarding trees and the importance of that.
Yeah,
I've got my 2 or 3 topics in there.
so
New Canaan is in.
one of the questions I had, because we had this resource question about what to add from our particular commission. I wondered if we should take anything from our website and then add it to this. That's what I have a question about. I don't know,
I don't know either. It's a good question.
well, we can look at it.
Our
I
open
didn't-
space maps and things like that.
Yes,
That
yeah.
has been given already.
And well, maybe the water testing
Yeah, that would be interesting.
and,
A good point. You can, because it's an open doc, you can
Yeah.
add a link or suggest a link to the Conservation Commission website and these articles in particular. That'd be great.
okay,
The folks who do the research, from the consultant side typically go through all that stuff.
Yeah, I think, yeah, in some cases, we're giving them things that they already know. On the other
Anything
hand-
that's on publicly on the town website, on our website, all that stuff, they.
you think they
probably-
will?
Oh, yeah, well, oh, yes, if you look at the documents they prepared,
Mhm,
that Southbury thing is just chock-a-block full of maps and
Right.
everybody else's.
Yeah.
information.
Yeah, well, I'll put it on there just in case they might not.
Right. Yeah, I think.
You don't want to talk about-
Better, yes.
No, yeah, we can always take it off and say, oh, we looked at this. And then-
So one item that I'm very interested in learning about is what are the results of the online survey that closed at the end of the month? I don't know whether you have any access or any knowledge of that from the town council, but that would be, I think, from the town
Yeah.
council standpoint, be fascinating.
The survey for the.
Yeah.
I've heard that it's been a 25% response rate, but
So I think they said they had 2,200 responses or something.
And they want 4,000.
They wanted 4,000, but they're only, well, there are 20,000 households, but I think only 7,500 households, 22,000 people. So,
They
Yeah.
should send it out again.
well, I think now they had an open and closed cycle.
They did, and it's closed now, but they should,
It would
Send
be
it out
great.
again.
I don't think,
people missed it. I know, a lot of people
this is a
missed it.
very busy time of year.
Yeah.
Most people.
I know a lot of people said, a
That's
lot,
right.
you know, and I know. that
It did, it did take time.
Yes.
I'm interested in seeing what the results are for the first 2,200.
Yeah.
If there's an argument that it should be rerun or added to if you didn't do it the first time.
Well, they shouldn't,
Yeah,
they should go to
right.
the response rate that they want,
Mhm.
because otherwise there'll be some.
Question of the validity of
Yeah,
sampling error.
there'll be some samples that are below,
Mhm.
um.
Okay, well, we can find out, but I think that would be, I think I'll make a note to contact them to say, when do the results come, in? Is there a way to share them? And the Conservation Commission would be a good place to share some of those
Yeah.
results.
Thought maybe in that open meeting, they might. one of
That
those
would take a
open
long,
meetings.
that would really,
Yeah,
make it a one-way, you wanna have,
Yeah.
you wanna have a two-way, point, but they could maybe summarize it to them.
yeah,
Lastly, on open space, I did go in front of the Board of Finance to press the case for applying a portion of the conveyance, real estate sales conveyance fee to open space. There was no decision at the time, but they agreed to start incorporating this thinking into the next budget process, which starts just about next month.
yeah,
So it's been a steady push. I haven't gotten, the yes, we'll do it. But I think that they're willing to take it under consideration. I'll leave that. Any other comments or concerns about the P O C D for open space?
Just to return to this meeting, when we'll have an opportunity to talk with the authors, it doesn't seem like it's been set in stone yet, and I worry whether we're all going to be able to make it. If we don't have something on the calendar we can schedule around, it's coming up pretty quick.
it's on, let me pull up Mickey's, email.
is that on the town calendar? They have,
There are definite dates.
Okay.
Let me see. Okay, so, the next P O C D meeting is 10/24. And then the community workshop with the consultants has been scheduled for Thursday, 10/26. From 6 to 9 PM at Lapham.
That's the one we go to.
That would be one to go
It's
to.
that it will be open house style. So while it starts at 6, there is no requirement to arrive at the time. There will be stations to circle through to engage in discussions with SLR about various topics. Anticipate spending only about an hour at the workshop. spread the word.
There you go.
Okay.
All right.
And that's our one chance to meet with them.
That's the first chance.
No, don't be
I
on
try to schedule, I believe. They actually call them public community meetings or something.
Right.
They are obliged to do at least 2 or 3,
Right.
but they may do them in stages, collecting the information they got after one, making revisions to blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 and then coming up with a revised document.
Any other further questions regarding the land or the P O C D? Okay, on the budget spend, I told Robin that there's funding for the accreditation support. The funding is there for the river testing. On the way over here, I was confused. Did we get the results of this summer's river test already?
No.
That's to be.
That's to be, they, I think they finish sometime in October, so they're finished, but they don't have the presentations
Got it.
ready or the results ready until December and January.
So you'll
Yeah.
request a time in December or January to have
Right.
it tested as well. So that's great. And that'll be the 3rd year that we've done it.
No, fourth.
4th year, brilliant, so we're getting a line. Okay. On the new business side, just under Conservation Commission organizational structure, I believe that 3 members roll off this year, or their terms end at this cycle. Susan, do you know which of us rolls off? I suspect I do. I don't know who.
I
re-up.
just signed on again.
So that you would
recently.
re-up.
Yeah, I did already.
So, and Ann took
She should be new.
Marty's place, but I don't know where
She assumed a cycle.
Annie assumed Marty's cycle.
Oh, I see.
I'm pretty sure, I don't know whether you and I are on the same cycle or not, and John. John may be at his,
I think so.
Don't they contact you? I mean, they
Well,
contacted. me.
anyway.
No, they probably don't. I mean, you could die and still be a member of the commission.
No, they contacted me and said that, well, actually, aren't you voted on in town council and then?
Yeah, you're meant to be.
Yeah, because you have to be recommended by the first selectman, and then you get a little letter, and it says you're
Right.
gonna come and swear in, and you get this big document. I have a lot of those red
Right,
folders.
Annie, did you go through that?
Did.
Okay, so you're in. So I think that, we're going to be going through a transition. It's basically, and I've told both candidates for first selectman that I would step down as chair and give them the opportunity to, decide who they want.
Why?
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 Yeah.
Well, I felt it was the right thing to do.
No.
To give them the opportunity to, create a conservation commission as the head of the government, kind of. And I know that it's not how it's normally done, but I just felt like with the transition of administration, there should be.
I understand your intent,
Mhm.
but I guess what I'm saying is I would express your intent, but I wouldn't necessarily agree to step down until they had decided.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. I think what I'm saying is. You
You're
can,
going to give them the opportunity.
I
if
give
they
you,
want to.
do what you feel
I
you want to do.
Canvas, chair it for
For
many.
for continuous cycles, yeah.
Many.
Yeah, and
We've only had 3, maybe 4. The first one was not very long, but the second one, John, whatever his name was,
Right.
Lewis, he was
Oh,
on,
Tom Lewis.
Tom Lewis.
Right.
Yeah, I wasn't here then.
And then Cam, he was here for a very long time.
Right.
well, I feel like, I need to also reduce some of my commitments, because I'm getting involved with the community foundation now. In a more substantive manner.
We'll help you more.
Yeah.
We'll pitch in.
The good news is I think that there are great candidates, some really great people who are asking to join the commission as well and get involved, so.
Well, I thought we were gonna have more people.
Well, that's also part of the upcoming charter discussions.
I totally agree with that, but I think recycling people just to be recycled out because of some kind, I don't think the Conservation Commission bears an imprint of an administration.
I agree, and in fact, when I was asked, somebody said, well, what's your representative mix? I said, I honestly don't know. I mean, because there's the political of who's Republican, who's Democrat, and then there's gotta be a split of who's what.
Yes, right.
And I said, as far as I can tell, we're just conservative. We're not.
Yeah, so I would get a, email or something from the Democratic Party and saying, are you going to be considering staying on? If
Yeah.
not, so-and-so would like
Okay,
to,
Well, I
step in.
I
So
suspect,
I don't know if you've received anything or, you know,
What?
anything from I don't even know if you're in a party.
What?
Are you a representative from one of the parties?
I have no idea.
Yeah, so, well, I was.
So-
I was, I know, so I don't know, because they do contact me and.
Well, I do know that that exists in the
Yeah.
commission structure,
Right,
but I don't recall as my party affiliation having any bearing at all.
yeah,
no, I agree with you that I never considered that a factor, because I'm basically unaffiliated.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
no, I bring it up because also, this would be 6 years for me on the commission. And,
really?
I know, Tempest future. I am also going to be, stepping off of the Wavy Park Conservancy Board and off the Land Trust Board. So, it's sort of like I'm shifting my focus, which I think will create opportunities, for some new people on the, commission, and as well as for the three of you or for the four of you with John to say, who wants to, take on the leadership. And I think the way it works is within the Conservation Commission, somebody has to run, somebody has to put their name forward,
Yeah, I know,
and then we put your name forward as secretary, Susan, the last time.
so I
You-
remember, yeah. I am putting saying
Right.
that he was resigning from chair, staying on, but that he recommended that you be
Right.
chair, and then asked us if we.
So
were okay about it.
I bring it up because this transition will come. The administration changes out like November 23rd. I don't think we'll change out until the process comes our way, but it's something that's coming forward, so. Just, be aware of that. And
Of course, if
then,
we make the commission larger and have more spaces, then there could be seats where the chair could reduce their
Yeah.
responsibility.
but I think that for sure, no, I made this point right when I joined, saying. The Conservation Commission, given if you want it to be effective, should become a 7-person commission with 2 alternates. And that way it can take on more projects, such as sustainability, water testing, things that aren't being done. And I think that the goal will be the Conservation Commission to be, well aware and represented in the upcoming charter review cycle to say, we'd like to make this adjustment. Because statutes say it has to be 5 persons with political party split, but it doesn't say it can only be 5 persons, it's not mandated, so I think and I think that given everything that's happened in the past 5 years,
Yeah,
open space, conservation, clean air, fresh water, all these things.
it should be, the commission should have a greater importance in there, for more volunteers.
Yeah.
To advocate for
And the
all
truth
the
is,
environmental things we want to accomplish.
and if we look at what the Nature and Environment Group has done through the library, you look at all the potential candidates that come up, people from the Nature Center, garden clubs, gardeners, beautification league, there's this pool. That as we, we share ideas, we become a greater block.
It'd be great to have all those people at these meetings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Totally.
So, so that's that point. Any questions on that?
So the charter review has not been voted on by the town council?
So can you push that through? Just to say, I can one think the charter review should occur, and that in sitting in the Conservation Commission itself, now that it is a fully chartered organization, feels it should be a 7-person commission, and would like that revision.
I'll definitely bring up in your voice. I'll see if it's on the
So
agenda.
say all of us, right? Okay, and then, and yes, to ask, a discussion time about our social media and getting.
Yes. I do. I would like to basically put out a call for information, tips, photos, contacts to my fellow commissioners and anyone interested in this. So basically, if you know of something that's happening, maybe trees are going in, maybe there's a stone wall that's being repaired or built, maybe there's a bird that's coming through town in the migratory
Mhm,
season, maybe something's blooming
mhm.
in the meadows or in the kitchen gardens that we have around town. Or even if you know of someone who would make a great little, like a person to feature.
Mhm.
Please send me an email. And I can even create an email address that's, we can specifically for this. I need to know when things are happening. If cement is being laid that day, I want to get a great picture while it's happening. And speaking of photography, I think photos and videos are really key to this. So, the last time we spoke about this, John Cusick was saying, well, maybe there's a possibility for an intern. And I thought about it, and that's really where I'd could use some help, is if we had a local high school student who's interested in photography who could show up and, when I can't be there, and take a great photo of the Bristow oak
Yeah.
coming down, and take a great photo of one of the things I love to do is feature neighbors who are sort of leaders in these areas. So someone who planted a pollinator meadow and something's blooming, and to take a great portrait of that person with their meadow.
I think that there are a lot of good ideas there.
Yeah,
And.
my neighbor is
And-
building a net zero house.
Yeah.
Would love to feature someone like
And
that.
I would be happy to, describe the solar system that I just installed.
Yeah,
I don't know if I made it to net zero in the house. Apparently, I gotta go through a lot of work to get an LED certified.
to have people
But I think
giving us
it's- yeah.
tours, like a short little video
Right,
tour.
Just, I think that's good to kind of put out images of conservation or nature oriented or environmentally friendly, projects would be super.
Yeah, because I think it's happening in town and.
It is happening in some ways.
In little pockets, and whenever I convert.
That's right. So one of the things that happens is the land, somebody does something and the land trust takes it and forwards the feed. So there is this opportunity to amplify or
Yes.
resend.
Yeah, the
So,
more impressions and the more distribution, the better.
right, the Canaan is putting up social media.
That's
So
good-
there's an
good
opportunity
content
to
there.
resend,
Yes,
and pick up and
And the
forward
nature
the
center
stories.
does as well.
Nature Center, the land trust does.
They'll also pick up like the story of Cana, was it Jim Davis? Who
Yeah,
goes on Greenlee and
Right,
picks up all the
picks up
garbage
garbage
every
like-
Saturday.
Right,
right.
yeah, see, I don't see all of those things, so anything
So you
that pops up.
need to increase your social media presence, awareness. I need to get you on the news.
Well, I'm asking for my fellow commissioners to forward me anything that they think is
Oh, good.
worthwhile,
Oh, right.
so,
So, you mean on Instagram or on any
Anything.
format?
like, hey, this would make a good post,
Yeah.
or hey, this is happening, or hey, we got funding.
right, right.
So that I'm in the know and I can either get someone there, I was thinking of going to the high school, and asking the photography club to help out. If, everyone's in agreement, I can just go and do that.
Sure.
Okay, great. And then, lastly, since we're over time here, I think we should talk about the meeting time
Yes,
for the group, and I also think we should consider whether posting videos of the meetings is something that's actually required, or whether, having, this is open to Alden Canaan to join us in the meeting, and then posting just the text version of the minutes, whether that's sufficient.
Mhm.
I'm trying to find that out. I couldn't quite get an answer since we ran into each other earlier today.
I don't honestly know the answer to that, I just know all of the commissions and meetings are all.
all recorded now.
And they're
All on Zoom. Hey, there's a requirement
Yeah,
for, public access, so
Right.
Zoom is there.
Which we're doing.
Right.
yeah. But, I teach a lot of the about these generative AI tools that, changing the game quickly with how material can be used online, and good, digital hygiene now means pulling back.
What we should, your awareness of that is at such a much higher level that I think a note. If you want to send it to myself and,
Sure.
and the first selectman, and he'll forward it to his IT group to say, what steps are we taking? Or what should we be concerned about? You're right, because I'd hate to have this discussion be overlaid with support for some impactful program.
Yeah, I think we just put the minutes out, but that's what I'm proposing, and then just to, check in with everybody on meeting time, whether it's
Right.
actually something we can make.
Right, I think that we're gonna have to set a calendar for the following year in December. And we should get to a point which says that what time should this meeting be held? I think we moved it up. I might have been under my impetus because I know I have another board meeting later this evening, starting at 7. So it used to be 6 to 7, but we always went over. So,
Yeah,
I think the other issue was Tyler was having a big problem.
Right. right, oh yeah, we were running into, there was another board of finance routine, something else came after this
and then
meeting.
we had the gala.
And-
And
Right, and then we tried to get Robin in, so we were kind of reflex to about this time, but it could change. I think I'm here for the November meeting, I may be traveling, but December I'm here for sure.
I know that what do they call themselves, the economic development and tourism or whatever.
Yeah, TDAC,
Their meetings are at 7 and they're having a lot of trouble with attendance.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's really too late,
Flexible,
whatever. Right, you need to figure out where the time is best. So you gotta do
Yeah.
the thing or whatever. It turns out for me, afternoons are good.
What about like earlier in the day, is that a possibility?
Also a possibility, could be
I think
easily.
For working parents in town,
Yeah.
making meetings like this.
Right.
When your kids are here, yeah,
Yeah, it's easier when they're in school and you're at the office and you do a lunch.
very good point. I mean, I don't think either of us would object if it was at 2:00.
No, actually, that would probably be more convenient. Because
For cranky guys like me, like sleep, but I'm
he's taking.
happy you brought it up and we will continue to work on that.
Great.
If there's no other comments, I'd like to make a motion to close the meeting at 6:07.
I move that we adjourn.
All in favor? Adjourned. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Doctor.
He's on.
It's done.
Yeah.